Hey there, and welcome into Main Street Living. I'm Danielle Alvari.
Hey guys, I'm Quincy Carr.
I'm Cheryl Nelson. Happy to be here again for another week.
Yeah, you are definitely happy to be here because Cheryl, I know since you've gotten better, you're getting out there more, right? Like you're traveling. Like, you're doing anything else?
One thing I hadn't done in a while until probably a couple months ago was go to the movie theater, and
Wow.
I saw Top Gun Maverick. It was amazing, guys. It just so nostalgic to get back there in the theater with the big screen. There's still something to be said about that and eating that movie theater popcorn.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm there for the snacks. Absolutely. I love going those smaller theaters too that have like they bring you the snacks too, like the really fancy
Oh,
theaters where you just kind of like bring me a hot dog and you don't have to leave your seat.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh,
Hold
yes.
up. Are y'all the butter? Are y'all the extra butter people?
The butter
Like 17
flavoring.
pumps?
You gotta have the flavoring. My favorite is an olive oil that tastes like butter. Really
Ah,
good, and there's actually no lactose in it, so it's
We can
vegan
always count
friendly.
on Cheryl for the healthy tip.
I
yeah,
know,
yeah.
right?
Always count on Cheryl for something to help us out. And we got a great show today in store. In fact, a couple of things is going to help us out. We're talking the IT world as well as the real estate market.
Yes, and we're also talking about how to keep kids safe, which is harder and harder to do, it seems, every day.
Yeah, we've got some big guests with us today. We'll start talk with an international pop sensation and learn about her moving story. But first, we go behind the scenes of a new hit movie. You don't want to miss this.
Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Ladies, I'm so excited to actually meet our next guest because I don't know if I ever shared this story, but I have this one friend that insists that his screenplay is going to be the next big blockbuster. But life has happened over and over and over again. Things keep changing. I hate to be negative, but I don't think he's ever going to finish the script.
Oh.
No. Well, some of them get finished. Sometimes they do finish. And we have a real life successful screenwriter and producer, Chris Sparling, here to tell us about his process and his latest project. Welcome to Main Street Living, Chris.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
So, Chris, throughout the course of human history, an awful lot of people have tried to write a screenplay or think they could write a movie. How did you get into it? And what was difficult about it that maybe you didn't realize would be?
Well, I mean, I got into it. I started years ago as an actor and then just kind of started messing around saying, well, let me try writing a little bit. And then I was kind of one day like, I think I'm actually better at that. So maybe I'll focus on that from now on. So so that's what it was. And then, what you don't realize, I think, is how difficult it actually is to get a movie made. There are, I mean, 1,000 reasons why a movie will never happen. And that's
Mhm.
something you kind of at the outset don't consider.
Chris, full disclosure, I of course was IMDb stalking you, and so I was looking at some of the
Oh,
movies you've worked on,
Mhm.
and a lot of them are pretty scary. So how do you come up with the ideas for your movies?
Yeah, which is weird because you're right. A lot of them are, and I'm not like that sort of a person in general. But so I don't know why that turned out to be the case. But I mean, ideas for me come, I don't know, randomly, just like anybody else. If I'm driving, something may occur to me, or sometimes you see something that you're like, oh, wow, that's really cool. And you kind of play the what if game. You're like, what if this happened? What if all of a sudden, I don't know, aliens took over Earth, whatever it is, right? You kind of do that. And then you walk around with these ideas for a while. And if they're sticking with you, you kind of say, all right, well, maybe there's something to that one.
Yeah,
wow.
absolutely. I
And
mean, I remember, I think it is Buried, one of the ones you worked on with Ryan Reynolds. I mean, my goodness, that one stuck with me for a long
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
yeah, you've got so many out there. And
Yeah, that was a messed up movie.
mm, oh,
That's what I'm saying. I was like in college watching it and I couldn't sleep for like a week. So
I know a lot of these movies are like that. And we had you on the show back in 2020 to talk about Greenland, and that was a really scary
Hmm.
disaster movie. And now you have a new movie out, which is still scary, but on a much more personal level, and something that unfortunately a lot of us can really relate to. It's called The Desperate Hour. Tell us a little bit about that story and what prompted you to write that and want to turn that into a movie.
Well, I mean, like you said, a lot of the stuff I've written has been kind of scary, but it's
Mhm.
kind of a the projects are scary in their own way, depending on what it is. Greenland was a disaster movie. Uh, I've done movies that are dramas. This is more of a dramatic thriller. And what The Desperate Hours is about a mom played by Naomi Watts, who's out for a morning run, and she's way, way out, past her house and everything, when she gets an alert from her kid's school that there's an active shooter incident.
Mm.
And I mean, it's a parent's worst nightmare. And she's so far from home by this point that just going back home and getting in the car is not an option. So now she is, she's just a mom. She's just an everyday person like me, like you, and totally, feeling helpless and just wanting to be there for her child.
Yeah, it's almost too real at this point. Let's take a look at the trailer.
Noah, you're gonna be late. Listen, I was thinking we could do family night tonight. Movie, dinner. Okay, I'm going for a run.
Marion County has been placed on lockdown due to an ongoing incident.
I'm 5 miles from home. I don't have a car, and tell me what's happening.
There are 5 people barricaded. Your son is one of them, and so is the suspect. Our negotiator's in contact with
He doesn't have your negotiator's son, does he? He has mine and an AR-15. Do something about it! Noah, where are you?
Help. He's here.
Who's here?
I'm scared.
Noah, don't... Pull up the internal drives.
That's illegal, Amy.
He has my boy. I need his phone number.
I'm coming to get you, honey. He's a good kid.
Mrs. Carr, this is Detective Ed Olson. There's been a new development.
Unknown number.
Who is it?
My son's there with you.
You're lying. You're the police.
No, I'm his mom. Tell me how I can help you.
SWAT has entered the East Wing.
Please hurry. Please hurry.
Who are you talking to?
What?
Who are you talking to?
You.
You're a liar. You're
What?
the police.
No,
Who's
I'm
out
not
there?
the police.
Tell me where he is!
Okay, Chris, that sent goosebumps up my spine. I felt her anxiety watching that. And if I get that from just the trailer, I can't imagine what the movie is going to be like.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard hitting stuff. I mean, it's this, and it's worth pointing out though too that the topic itself obviously is a very fraught one when you're dealing with guns and school shootings in particular. And for me, I had no interest in making a movie that showed the actual violence occurring. So the entire movie, and this is important to keep in mind, the entire movie takes place from her perspective on the outside. So we never actually see what's going on in the school. But the important thing about that, on top of my lack of a desire to show that stuff at the school, is that it speaks to kind of how helpless she is, because all she's relying on is her phone to get information. And that to me is also in a way, representative of and emblematic of what we deal with every day in society now, where we rely on our phones for everything, and
Right.
and the information is sometimes correct or half correct and everything else. And to a certain extent, it's great to have access to information, but other times it could really be detrimental if it's not the accurate information.
Yeah, there's a lot there. And we're going to take a quick break, Chris, but will you stick around with us for a few more minutes?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, perfect. We will continue this interview and get some more perspective on everything he's doing coming up next, right here on Main Street Living. Welcome back to Main Street Living. Well, we are back here with screenwriter and producer Chris Sparling to talk about his new movie with Naomi Watts. And wow, what a thrilling interview this has been already. Just lots of feelings here, lots of goosebumps. And so, Chris, Thank you for sticking with us a few more minutes.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. Thank you.
So we were talking about your last movie now that has come out, and what do you think draws you into writing these very suspenseful crisis stories?
Another thing that's a thing that's really important when you're doing any kind of storytelling is conflict and stakes. That's really what drives a story. Without those things, we kind of tune out. And when you're dealing with, be it an asteroid about to hit the Earth, like Greenland, and that's obviously very, very high stakes. Or in the case of this movie, a mom trying to be there for her child, and in probably the worst circumstance imaginable. You're immediately dealing with such high stakes. I mean, life or death stakes. And so I don't want to say it's cheat or a shortcut, but it's certainly easier to kind of draw in an audience with stakes that high than, say, I don't know, if you were making a movie about just two people that just constantly get along and have nothing wrong with their lives. And even if they have to accomplish something, it's not a big deal if they do or don't, because so that lack of stakes makes it just seem less compelling to us. So kind of flipping that on its head, I probably dial that too far sometimes to 11, but so be it.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's so interesting because I think there's even a generation of people who love watching or listening to true crime podcasts or things of that nature. And it's kind of horrific. And I mean, in this situation, something that maybe hits again really close to home. What is it about these movies that we love to watch them or need to watch them?
Well, I mean, I think cinema at its best when it works and is when you when you walk out of the theater and you feel something beyond just, oh, that was a good movie. I don't want to say it teaches you a lesson, because that's not really what I'm saying. It's more that you go through the experience in a visceral way, right? Without having to actually deal with the real life consequences as if you went through it in person. Well, you feel it. You I don't know, if whatever it is, maybe you go and you're like, I should really go call so and so because I haven't talked to them in a while. And you're like, well, why? Well, because I saw this movie and it just made me really stop and think about life for a moment. And so stuff like that. I mean, I think that's part of it. And again, that does come down to stakes, is that you feel like the character you just sat for 2 hours and watched, went through the unthinkable and had a lot on the line. And again, it's fake, but there's just something about it when it's working. That just reaches you in a very specific way, I think.
It touches your soul and it makes you realize how fragile life really is. That's what we got out of watching the trailer for The Desperate Hour. And in addition to writing this, you also produced this movie. So what's it like to be so hands-on and involved in making your story really come to life and touch people's souls?
I've produced a few movies now, this being one of them, and I've done it more and more. There are producers that's what they do, and they're great producers. And I've kind of become a producer more and more of my stuff to kind of remain part of that creative process beyond just writing the script. With this, I was very hands-on, and it's an interesting process to be the writer and a producer, because you're sometimes forced to make tough decisions between, maybe you might be like, oh, but I really love that scene that I wrote or whatever. But the producer side of you is saying, yeah, but it doesn't work, so you have to kill it. So it's kind of a weird duality to it. But no, I mean, it's such an extensive process. The hour and a half or whatever movie any movie becomes, there's so many hours of work that go into distilling it down to that. And we did this movie over the course of, basically during the acute phase of the pandemic. So much of post-production in particular was done by Zoom. So it's that in and of itself was a surreal process to be basically at my house on my computer, for as an example, to say, like, when the soundtrack, the score was being done, I believe it was like, I could see on my computer at home that we have the symphony, and they're like in Eastern Europe, and the composer's in London, the director, Philip Noyce, is in LA, and I live in Rhode Island. I'm in Rhode Island in my kitchen watching this happen, and we're all communicating. So it was a very surreal and unique experience. But truth be told, it's always unique and interesting in its own way.
Well, I mean, it's like you said, there's a million reasons why a movie won't get made. So it's incredible
Yeah.
that you were able to be so involved, be a producer, be a writer, and get this one made. Where can viewers go watch The Desperate Hour?
Yes, they can go to, if they have Hulu, if they subscribe, they can see it there for free. Well, free if you subscribe to Hulu. And then you could also rent it on iTunes or Amazon Prime.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, good stuff. I followed you on Twitter as well. I see that
Oh.
information on the screen too.
So I apologize in advance for anything I might say.
Oh, you've been such a treat. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Wow. Well, Cheryl, I still have those goosebumps, but we're going to switch things up in our next segment here and hear from an international pop star right here on Main Street Living.
Welcome back to Main Street Living. Danielle, Quincy, music is really a part of our lives. It's so powerful. It can raise our mood, give us energy and motivation, and even inspire us.
That's right, Cheryl, and that's especially true when the musician herself is inspiring, okay? Like the woman we're about to meet. Please welcome international pop sensation Shab to the show. Welcome to Main Street Living, Shab.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today, this morning.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time. We know that you're in the midst of traveling, but you have a very inspiring shirt that says love on it. So we're going to, love wins. That's even better. Yeah. So you have quite an incredible story. You got to tell us about your life and how you ended up here in the U.S.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to put it in a nutshell. I left Iran when I was about 7, 8, and I went to, I was in Turkey for a year waiting for my visa to go to Germany. Then I was in Germany for almost 4 years, and I went to boarding school there. Honestly, like I had the best childhood when I was in Germany because, you know, all the transportation is so easy to get around, and I was like a little adult getting myself to school and, you know, after school programs and tennis lessons or whatever that I really enjoyed doing. So from there, I waited for my green card to come for US, and I was 14 when I came to US, and my family was already in Baltimore, so they received me. So I was traveling with one suitcase and an umbrella. That was my whole life up to 14 years old, and that's all I had. And it was never about things for me. It was more about the love that I shared with my family and how much I had missed them. And I was just eager to get back to US to be with them, to reunite with my family. And I hadn't seen my mom in almost 3.5 years. So I'm the baby of 13, you know, so I was so close to my brothers and sisters. I was devastated being alone in Germany for almost 4 years without them. And so it's been quite a journey. I mean, it brings me to tears, like happy tears. Sometimes when I think about, you know, having one pair of shoes, going to school on unpaved roads for like a mile, and then being here and, you know,
and look at you now.
Having my music being number 7 in the pop charts in the UK. It's just, you know, I'm just so humbled and I'm just so grateful. And God is real.
Oh,
sorry.
So you said you just had an umbrella. Do you still have that umbrella?
No, but it was like a little cute baby umbrella. It was like, you know, it was a small, like tiny suitcase with an umbrella. My family always jokes with me and says, Mary Poppins came to town.
Exactly. Well, so Shah, you've been working on your musical career for a few years, but of course had those really big hits during the pandemic. What was it like to have that success at such a strange time in our history?
I honestly felt liberated, but at the same time, I was really sad for what was happening. And I told my team to not post or, you know, not release any music because there's just so many bad things happening around us. But then I remembered when we had the war in Iran and there was the bombs coming down, and it was just such scary times. But we kept ourselves in this little bubble where we would dance and we would, you know, pray, and we had our little sanctuary. And I said, you know what? what the world needs right now is music and salvation. I said, we need to sort of like that good distraction. I said, guys, you know what? No, go ahead and let's go ahead and release Spell on Me. And when it came out, we had it was just different. It was entertainment. Again, entertainment is something good where we can escape to another world and just for that moment and live something else, like a different dimension for that moment, and feel like we can do anything we put our mind into because other people have achieved that. So if we just stay focus, laser focus.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what you've done. You were talking about being number 7 on the UK charts, but your latest song, Serenity, is climbing the charts right now. Like, what does that song mean to you?
I wrote Serenity during the pandemic, and so basically, Serenity is my love story with God and all the beautiful people, souls, that He has brought into my life that are sunshine of my soul. And even in the lyric, it says, like, dark days are gone like fallen leaves. The dark days are behind us. I honestly feel like there's so many amazing things that are going to happen for our planet, and so many good things are going to come out of this. And I want to do my part. If I want to see the world in a certain lens, I want to be able to see that, and I want to make those dreams come true and helping people, kids, adults, I don't know, building healing centers and schools one day. Yeah. That's my dream, and that's what keeps me going every day. And my 5-year-old son and my 4-year-old daughter, my son's name is Raphael, my daughter's name is Shiloh, and they were crying because I'm here for work, and I told them, and I was tearing up too because I miss them so much. They're my life source. And I said, guys, you know why we're doing this? We're trying to help people, and we want to do something nice. And my son always says, Mommy, the person is homeless. And I said, okay, remember how you said that to me? One day we can help those people, and yes. and then they just get happy, and they're like these little magical humans. So
how do you balance all of that, being this pop star and also a mother of 2?
I have a lot of great help, honestly. I must give it up to my husband. He's an amazing father. My nanny, her name is Fatima. It's also like the angel Fatima, right? She really is an angel, and they love her, and she's awesome. And my sisters, my family, that they come into town, they go to Dallas to help me out. And I FaceTime them every day. And, I always say my fans are all my babies too, in a way, right? Yeah. I wanna, it's not fair for me to keep all this love inside, and I want to be able to share that with my fans. And I want to take this time to do all my choreography and build this amazing show for them, write more music, because I want to inspire them. And it's just not about entertaining, it's about inspiring, it's about motivating each other and pushing each other and believing in each other.
Well, we believe that you have done it right here on Main Street Living. Now, really quick, how can viewers who are getting exposed to you for the first time keep up with you and follow you?
The best way, honestly, is at Shab, my Instagram, IG, Shab Music Official, and you can also find a lot of the stuff that I'm doing for shabofficial.com as well. Awesome. So you can, yes. Thank you so much for you guys, for your time, and for the love. And I'm happy that people are liking my music, and I'm just trying to spread some positivity and some good vibes and energy my way to you guys. So, well,
you've done that. Thank you so much for stopping by, for taking time out of your day.
Thank you. Love wins.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Amazing what she's been able to do, obviously, and all while being a mom of 2. Incredible work. And also, speaking of kids, that's where we're going to go next. We're going to talk about how to keep our kids safe right here on Main Street Living.
Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Ladies, I'm a parent. I'm now a parent of a preteen, and as a parent, our biggest concern for our kids is just keeping them safe, right? Whether it's car seats, helmets, healthy snacks. Gosh, I mean, we try to do our best.
I know, and it's got to be so hard for parents, and sadly, parents cannot be there to protect their kids all of the time. And sometimes, I hate to say it, but the unthinkable happens.
Right. And this tragic story is a reminder to keep talking to our kids about the things that are most important, their health and safety.
Isaiah was very active in sports. He grew up with the dream of wanting to go to the NFL. He took football very serious. He was very good at it. He had a lot of close friends that he grew up with. He liked to hang out, play Xbox, video games, normal kid stuff. Isaiah had asked if he could go to the mall with his friends to go buy some shoes and stuff for school. And a little while later, he goes to the friend's house. Later on that evening, I get a call from a family member that there's a picture of Isaiah on Snapchat and he's passed out. And they're saying that he took a pill. We get to the ICU and they tell us that they're saying that Isaiah took a prescription pill. Percocet is what they said. But when they did his toxicology, they could not find Percocet in his system. They told us that they're certain that Isaiah ingested fentanyl because there's a lot of counterfeit pills going around. Unfortunately, because Isaiah was down so long and his friends didn't call right away, that he was left brain dead due to no lack of oxygen. But unfortunately, Isaiah didn't make it. I'm not mad at Isaiah. I was a little upset in the beginning because I did have those talks with him and I did tell him about drugs. I did warn him about being able to identify who your real friends are. But at the end of the day, Isaiah was still a child and someone deceived him into thinking he was trying something that he didn't. So to me, Isaiah didn't overdose. I think for me, Isaiah was poisoned. I started Isaiah's Forever 83 campaign in memory of Isaiah. Try to reach them and educate them to understand that all drugs right now are laced and they all contain fentanyl. It's very rare that you're going to find an actual prescription pill on the street right now that doesn't have fentanyl. Some of these pills they're now making them to look like candy and to be appealing to the kids. The one thing that parents should really consider is that our kids are not perfect, and unfortunately sometimes the outside influences can get the best. And just keep talking to your children and don't assume that they're not capable of making a mistake. A lot of kids make bad choices and that's part of growing up. But unfortunately, fentanyl doesn't give you a second chance every time. I would recommend for parents to have that conversation specifically about fentanyl, because even though they're considering trying drugs, they need to understand that fentanyl can kill you instantly. One time can be your last. One pill can kill.
Wow, Cheryl, Danielle, like this is the biggest fear as a parent, as a father, but this is sad because it's the reality for a lot of parents.
Absolutely. And you can get more information about this One Pill Can Kill and also learn how to talk to your kids about the dangers of fentanyl at talknowaz.com. All right, well, we are switching gears a little bit. We've got a lot more coming up on Main Street Living. And next, we'll explain how technology can help make your life a little bit easier.
Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Now, I have to say, unless you're an IT guy, such as myself when I was in the corporate world, then the IT guy or girl is probably one of the most valuable coworkers, right, ladies?
Absolutely.
Well, I would think you, Danielle, and Cheryl, you probably would just want to be able to do your work and not have to worry about making the technology work properly, right?
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
well, that's why people don't know, but Quincy is our unofficial IT guy on the show. He helps us out all the time.
That's right, Q. And our next guest is not the IT guy either, but he is an expert on the cloud, and he's here to help us understand this powerful technology a little bit better and how it can make our lives easier. So let's welcome David Sebastian to the show. Thanks for joining us here on Main Street Living. You are with Cox Cloud.
Yes, nice to be here. Thank you.
So we've all heard of the cloud by now, usually because it's where our phones store all of our pet photos like this, right? But it's a little bit more than that. So can you tell us how businesses use the cloud?
Sure. So businesses use the cloud for many reasons. In its simplest form, the cloud provides on-demand services that businesses can turn up and down like a utility versus investing in all this hardware and infrastructure to support those services. So companies can store their data, access applications, and work from anywhere seamlessly when they utilize the cloud.
So it sounds like it's all about making life easier, especially I know that Cox is trying to make life easier for its customers. They've been adding more and more managed cloud services to its portfolio. What can you tell us about the Cox Cloud and what services are available?
Sure. So about 5 years ago, Cox Business acquired a company called RapidScale, who was a market leader in cloud services. Cox recognized early on that customers would need help in navigating and optimizing the benefits of cloud. And today, Cox Cloud Services allows customers to be more efficient by letting them focus on their core business while Cox manages their IT infrastructure or supports their existing IT teams.
Okay, interesting. And since 2020, businesses have had to deal with challenges that they've never had to face before. I mean, we've got the pandemic, all kinds of things going on, viruses with computers. How can Cox Cloud help in this new work environment that we are all trying to still adjust to?
Absolutely. So over the past 3 or so years, the work environment has become much more fluid. And we're relying more and more on the internet to do business.
Mhm.
And companies have been really challenged with not only retaining IT staff, but also maintaining a balance between the user's experience, no matter where they are, but also the security that's required to protect their data. So Cox is very well positioned to help customers no matter where they are on their path to the cloud.
Yeah. I have another job and I have to constantly email the IT guy to help me out with my password, and I feel bad every time, but they're so clutch for us. Who are
Yeah.
the clients that will benefit most from Cox Cloud services? And do you need to be a Cox customer to take advantage of Cox Cloud?
Mm.
Absolutely not. So
Huh.
if you don't live in an area where Cox provides internet services, you can receive Cox Cloud services because, frankly, they're in the cloud, right? So many businesses are challenged these days to do more with less, and keeping up with technology is not just important, but it's critical, really, for your businesses to stay competitive. So Cox Cloud can really benefit any clients that are looking to leverage the cloud, or maybe they just need help in managing the technology that they have today.
Yeah, that's a good point because I talked to my parents about the cloud and I'm a meteorologist and they say, "Oh, you mean the clouds in the sky?" And I'm going, "No, no, no, not those clouds. We're talking
Right.
about the IT computer cloud." And I think to them it's still kind of foreign. So how
Sure.
can our viewers like my parents get more information about Cox Cloud?
Yeah, so it's very easy if you just go to the Cox website. There's a link here, Cox Cloud for Biz with the number 4.com, or you can call us at 1-855 Cloud 4B for Cloud for Business.
Awesome. Looks so good. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Oh, it was great. Thank you so much.
All right, definitely worth investing some time and learning about the Cox Cloud. And speaking of investing, what is going on with the real estate market? That's coming up next on Main Street Living. Welcome back into Main Street Living. Now, by this point, we all know that real estate is a great investment, but managing the property can be confusing and a lot of work.
Oh my goodness, it's so much work even to own a house, for example. And our next guest is here to help us figure out when we might want to enlist the help of a professional and call in a property manager. Welcome, Al Pasiri from Harlan Property Management. Good to see you there.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I feel like we're creeping on you a little bit, kind of like we're looking in the people of one of your properties.
Yeah, I'm knocking on the door.
Well, you are the operations manager for Harlan Property Management. What exactly are the responsibilities of a property manager, and what kinds of things do you handle? I'm sure it's got to be a lot.
Yeah, it is. Basically, we're responsible for helping owners maximize the value of their rental investment property. It's very multidisciplinary. It involves knowing the whole leasing market and how to sell a rental, how, maintenance, law, insurance processes, just a whole lot of things. So it's very involved.
Yeah, so Al, I know here in the state of Virginia, the housing market is starting to kind of slow down as far as sales, but there are some challenges that come with that because now for your sellers, if they want to sell, buyers are asking for stuff like closing costs. Help. Like, are there any other challenges that you're noticing?
Absolutely. I mean, we're seeing some of it. It's a little different here in California, but what we're seeing is that some people are not able to sell. There's been an increase in dropout from escrow, and definitely some longer listing times that are getting withdrawn. And we see people coming to us saying, "Well, what would be the option?" And obviously, it's rental. The rental market is still strong here in San Diego because inventory is still very low. We haven't had enough construction for years. So even what you might see in other places is rental inventory will start to creep up, and that could be a challenge as those things that don't sell start to hit the market as a rental. So,
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So what are some other ways that you can help in this changing real estate market?
Well, basically what we can do for those owners, if you're in a position where you can't sell, you want to get something out of your rental investment property or your real estate investment. So basically we can rent it out and get you cash flow. Basically that's happened before. I've seen it, all the way back in 2008. Where people had to hold on to properties as rentals, waiting for the next opportunity to sell, which came in a few years. And we helped people bridge that gap to successfully sell the property when it's time. It just depends on their position, but a lot of people did hold on for 3 and 4 years and came out much better for it.
Yeah, my wife and I, we had our first home that became our rental property because we couldn't sell it in 2011, as you're referencing. But what we also realized was we can't keep trying to manage this rental on our own. So we did have an advantage having a property manager. So talk about that, the advantages of getting a property manager.
Absolutely. What I tend to say to people is, by the time that you hear about a trend, we've been living it here for 30, 60, 90 days or more. And so basically we're able to use that knowledge because we're doing this every day. And we use that knowledge to help you maximize what you can get. If somebody's still paying a mortgage, every dollar is going to count in terms of what we can do to maximize the rental value and minimize the downtime, the vacancy.
Gotcha. So are there upsides to either owners or renters or both in this new market?
I think this is an opportunity for a lot of people. I think for renters, what they're going to see is more inventory hitting the market. And that's going to be helpful in that they get more choices and it isn't as tight as it has been over the past year or so. Where it's just been incredibly tight. And I think for owners, there's always the opportunity to, explore renting, to see, I can't sell yet. I thought it would be a house I would flip. Maybe you make money as a rental and you exit in a better position.
All right. Well, it's clear that you have all the answers and you got to share with our viewers how they can find out about the other services that you guys offer as well.
Absolutely. You can find us on the web at harlanpropertymanagement.com. You're more than welcome to call our office at 858-367-0343, and we would be happy to help anybody in the San Diego area with their property.
All right.
No problem.
Yeah,
thank
good
you
to
so
see you.
much.
All right, thank you.
Awesome. Well, kind of got to get to the commercial break. Actually, I thought I had something else to say, but I don't. Straight ahead, there's more Main Street Living. Stay right there.
That's cute. Oh, wait, this way.
Welcome back into Main Street Living. Quincy, Cheryl, another great show. And now I'm ready to go get some snacks and hunker in and watch this new movie.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots to see there.
Yeah, well, if you missed this episode and any of our other good episodes as well, you can always catch them on our Cox Contour app.
Yes, and we have new episodes of Main Street Living, 9 p.m. local time on Mondays. So make sure you join us then as we take another stroll down Main Street.